work so you don't have to. I was thinking, fellas, some brands out there have like they've got like we have our organization name, right? HTL, hold the line. But these organizations sometimes have different podcasts within the organization that have different names. We talk about more than one sport on our podcast. I mean, it's kind of just football right now, but baseball season's around the corner. I'm just wondering, like, what are your guys' thoughts on, MLB season starts? Do we name our individual podcasts like HTL blank, HTL blank, depending on the sport? Or do we just keep it at Hold the Line Sports Betting Podcast, where we do the work so you don't have to?
I like it. I like the name.
Yeah.
I like maybe we go, this college football kind of our specialty. This is Hold the Line. We do the work so you don't have to. This is that. And then the other ones are Hold the Line, blank D blank, I like that. It adds some variety and it makes it specific for the listener.
Yeah, the one thing we remember is there's not much diversity in here for baseball. I think we're all Braves fans, right?
Yeah. I mean,
we know the game.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say
baseball players.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe something based around the area we're in, or do y'all want to go like, I don't know.
We're all baseball fans.
We got to workshop it.
I think we all have like a kind of a niche for certain teams and certain players and stuff like that, more so than others. Does that make sense?
What I've been thinking about as well is like even like so we're not like tied into like because when baseball comes around we can't post a podcast every day for picks like we do with college football.
There's games every day.
What if we just go every day almost. Yeah, what if we just go from Hold the Line Sports Betting to Hold the Line Sports, so we can literally just talk about sports in general? Because like baseball free agency news, injury news, predictions for the thing, it may not involve sports betting for sure, but going to Hold the Line Sports. So maybe thinking about something there, because it's kind of what I'm trying to do with Twitter over there. Because as you guys see, the actual tag of it is HTL Sports, mainly because HTL Sports Betting was taken. But HTL Sports, I like being able to tweet without having a play in the tweet.
Yeah, which I don't know how we're going to do everything, but I'll tell you this: the way we did it in the past, when we were previously all together in the same building, it was that was a fun time.
It was
like honestly, we can do that like. I don't know about every day, but like we can do that fairly regularly. We did this in the office where we would just have conversations that took like 15, 20 minutes about the games that were happening and whether we were on the same page or not. I actually loved the way, like that was great format.
We all succeeded or we all died.
That. I mean,
we rode together through
if we had like, if we had like locks that we like, at least a few of us believed in, it was like, or like if we all believed in the same one, it was like, yep, that's going in today. And then we were all fans together.
I know, and it's perfect. But like that's probably where like how I always say if I get the number one team at plus money, I'm gonna take it. I said that every day.
Yeah.
When the Dodgers, the Braves, something like that were plus money.
Yep. And our 100%. I think our 2025 motto needs to be never the fish. Just throwing that out there. Never the fish.
Well, we'll have we can reincorporate the no bet list as well, which we used,
I'll tweet that
throughout the course of the year. No bet list. For the week of blank.
I mean, Braves and day games, Braves and rubber matches, Twins day games.
The Twins day games where they got me a lot.
The snakes occasionally.
The fish never.
At this point, how the MLB season's shaping up is I might just take Dodgers to cover every day until it doesn't hit.
Yeah,
because I could possibly go 162-0.
Dude, Shohei was already good, and now he's got that dad power.
Well, and now he's got like 18 other teammates that are like just as good.
Yeah, and with all the news going around that Sasaki's deciding between the Padres, Dodgers, and Blue Jays, he's going to the Dodgers. We know.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, I'm going to go to the Padres, and then they're going to give him an extra $20 million.
Is that guy that just signed on the Dodgers? Is his name Ha-Seong Kim too?
It's like a different. It's spelled differently.
Yes,
spelled
I know who you're talking
okay.
about though. It's very similar.
Having two in the same, having two in the league would be sick.
I think it's Hai Song Kim.
Yeah, it's like a small difference with the first name.
I'm starting to think that somehow there's a top level Dodgers associate that made it possible for in Japan. There was 0 Major League Baseball branding. It's strictly just Dodgers. It's only Dodgers over there. Because I am convinced that
only team that exists.
There is only one baseball team in America, and it's the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean,
it's also the closest to their
yeah,
part of the
it's right
country.
there for them.
Technically,
they're obviously gonna they're gonna put out Shohei over there. Like they're gonna do it. And
like I could very easily imagine in my head right now Sasaki like going through the list, and he's like, Giants, never heard of them.
Braves, minor league
never
teams?
heard of them.
I want to start in the majors.
And he's like, Dodgers. I know the Dodgers. I know one of the Dodgers, man.
Cam reported the other day, like the Dodgers are making moves, but the Braves made a huge
massive addition to the squad. Garrett Cooper signed to a minor league contract. Might be a potential role player for us on the bench.
Is that the only move we've made?
I've had this conversation with multiple people, and I'm starting to lose faith in AA. I know he brought us a World Series, but there's just
in trades
like 3 years ago, man.
In trades, I don't. I trust no one more than AA in trades.
They got to prove me wrong this year.
Last year, I know it was unfortunate with injuries, but even last year, I went to a Braves game. And I would consider myself an avid Braves fan. I only knew 3 people in the lineup. Only 3.
I'm hoping they prove me wrong this year.
Forrest Wall and stuff. Yeah. Like, it's. I mean, we're down bad.
Ursula was out there. I mean, there's a couple of backup AAA guys from the Angels out there.
They got rough.
Ramon Laureano was high key elite for like half the year with us for some reason.
5-hole. Yeah, he was like our 5-hole hitter.
It was like Marcell Ozuna and a bunch of nobodies. So I was like, what happened here? I thought we were a good organization.
Olsen forgot how to hit a fastball.
Yeah, anything with elevation he has just no shot on. Okay.
Can't forget about David Fletcher too. Like they said, David Fletcher that gets like about like $20 million a year
for nothing. All right.
We can one more thing on baseball. I've already added a I already have a futures bet on baseball on Bovada because there was a futures that said, will a team win over 110 games this season? And I put $50 on yes, they will. And it will be the Dodgers.
Yes. I got him at 112 wins.
Yep. And that bet would cash for like $400. So feel free to follow that.
David Fletcher is the Braves Shohei. Knuckleballer there. Elite.
Gwinnett Stripers legend, David Fletcher.
Yeah. Yeah. Just slinging the pill. Yeah. Okay. We'll get back on track. But just some food for thought in case we want to make some alterations to, some of the branding that we have.
Let us know what you want.
We have coming out. Yeah. Well, yeah. Ask the viewers too. Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments what you think. Okay. Let's go. Agenda for today. Not a ton to talk about in the college football world, as there is only one game left to discuss. We will for sure recap the semifinal games in detail and then go over our preview for the title game along with predictions for that. I think we spice it up today, give a prediction for our best bets like normal, but I think we also do a score prediction. Sound good?
Okay.
Yeah, fair.
Closest to the pin. Maybe we win. Maybe there's a prize. I don't know. Maybe I'll send a prize to someone.
Well, I'm screwed then if it's closest to the pin.
Closest to the pin, score prediction. I think we do that.
It's going to say like 42-7.
Who knows what I'm thinking?
Be thinking about that.
He's going to say 42-7 Notre Dame because he hates Ryan Day.
True.
True. So we'll up the ante a little bit with that, make it a little interesting. If you guys are okay with that.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Let's get started with our recap for the 2 semifinal games. We'll start with Notre Dame and Penn State. Notre Dame wins this bad boy 27-24. I'll let you guys. I've been talking a lot, so I'll go ahead and let you guys have the table to start. Just some thoughts on the outcome here.
I loved watching this game. I was very entertained, and honestly, like even when Notre Dame went down 10-0, I was worried. I was like, this game could get out of hand because Notre Dame is not a team that normally plays from behind. They play very slow. But then, and if you would have told me Notre Dame was going to get down 2 possessions and not win the turnover battle, I was like, oh, Penn State won easily. But obviously, we see that, Penn State had probably the most crucial turnover of the entire season. Maybe you could say Jack Sawyer's was a little bit bigger, but it was absolutely crazy. Even when Penn State was going on that drive, it was 24-24. There was something in the back of like a lot of people's minds that, okay, Notre Dame hasn't forced an interception yet. When is that going to happen? Because they get one. They get one every game. And then it happened to be on that drive because like it might have been an overtime if they didn't go down and score, but they get one. And it just happened to be in Penn State territory on like the second play of the drive on a very bad mistake that was forced by Drew Aller.
Well, I will say.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I'll say the interception battle was, that was huge interception. Drew Aller really didn't give an opportunity for too many interceptions because he threw every pass like 15 yards too high for the first half of the football game. And I will say, like, quick overview. I think Drew Aller is going to be a good player. I hope he stays at Penn State, obviously, another year because I think he hurt his draft stock in that game because, lights were obviously way too bright because he is the only reason they lost them that football game. I think it was 5 completions for maybe 40 yards in the first half of the game, and most of his misses were blatant, wide open, we got to make that pass type plays. I know he had one drop that was a bad drop that would have been a touchdown, but he also should have had another interception in that game, but it was called back for a really, really bad pass interference call in the end zone. That ball that he threw in triple coverage that was like 5 yards short of where it needed to be.
Horrible decision. Yeah.
But I think Notre Dame, credit to them. I think they're a good football team. They're really good at what they do. I don't know, just, looking a little bit forward, how they match up because I think with old big number 99 being out, they are very undersized. And I think that's what Penn State took advantage of and kept them in that game. A game that they probably really should have won, really, if they had some kind of competent quarterback play. But they just got oversized, pretty much, overmatched, overpowered, and Ohio State's going to bring that. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare with that size disadvantage for them.
Yeah.
So I 1 sec before I forget. So I was worried. I was worried in the second quarter, like before the end of the second quarter. I think Notre Dame kicked a field goal somewhere near the end of the first half. And they go into half, they're only down by a touchdown. And I feel like Penn State outplayed them for the entire first half, and they were only up by a touchdown. Like, am I just going off of kind of game flow? I really feel like Penn State, they had the better sustained drives. They looked better offensively. They were kind of leaning on them, to be honest. They were kind of establishing their will. And when Notre Dame has this thing where it's there's this period before the end of the second quarter and at the beginning of the third, they did the same thing to freaking Georgia.
It's the middle 8.
At the middle 8, the middle 8, where they are the better team more times than not. And in my head, I was okay, Penn State has to get out to a lead because Notre Dame will make this competitive. Riley Leonard finds a way to make it competitive. So when they went into the half only up by 7, I was 90% sure that Notre Dame was going to win this game. If they're still in it, they're going to find a way.
A little stat here for you about the middle 8 in the playoff, or in the last 2 games. I don't know about the Indiana game because I didn't look at it. In the playoff, in the middle 8, guess what Notre Dame's point differential is and what the score is in the middle 8?
What is it?
27-0. They have not allowed a point.
Crazy.
Because in the Georgia game, it was 3-3 going into it, and then 20-3 coming out of it. Because it was 13-3 at half. Then they scored a touchdown, and then in the Penn State game, it was 10-0 going into it, and it was 10-10 going into halftime.
I believe it. It's I feel like I kept seeing the same thing where it's just like the game is flowing for the other team, and then there's this period of I thought Georgia was kind of establishing themselves against Notre Dame at the beginning of the game. I was like, Georgia looks like the better team until this moment in time hits, and consistently Notre Dame is that is when they lock in and decide to take over games.
And it's weird.
I haven't seen anyone stop them from doing it yet either.
Yeah, it's weird. We even said it last week. You can't project turnovers. You can't project that Notre Dame thrives on, but it happens every game. Now, will we probably make the same mistake again against Ohio State and say, no, Ohio State's not going to turn the ball over? Yes, but it happens every game somehow.
I literally wrote that down, dude. I wrote that exact thing down. I was like, at what point, because turnover, you always say it, turnovers are a fluky thing. That's what everyone says. Teams that rely on turnovers, what happens that game where they don't find the turnover? And so I keep saying that about Notre Dame, and every freaking game they find the key turnover, regardless of the circumstance, regardless of who they play. Penn State takes care of the ball. Drew Aller takes care of the ball better than almost any quarterback in college football. And he made the most crucial throwing error. I mean, he was making horrible decisions.
I think where Notre Dame is good is they don't rely on turnovers, but they force turnovers.
And they capitalize off of them.
Right. Because
they mean something. They mean
speed and how they operate. I mean, like you said, Drew Aller doesn't throw the ball away that much or doesn't throw interceptions that much, but I think a combination of pressure and just how good Notre Dame's secondary actually is, and I don't think they've gotten a ton of credit. They force that. They force that issue, and they take advantage of it. And I think they're a team that operates a lot on momentum, which we've talked about the last couple of weeks. Whereas, you saw it like you guys were saying, kind of the first half was slow. Didn't look like Notre Dame had a lot going for them. And then they kick a field goal at the end, and then they come back out of halftime and just look like a well-oiled machine. Right? You heard the commentators saying multiple times, I don't know what Marcus Freeman said to those guys in the locker room, but whatever he said, it worked.
Yeah.
I just think going into Notre Dame, or going into Ohio State, that's something that you could probably say would either help them in their favor, because I think Ohio State, on the other hand, likes to start really, really fast, right? Whereas Notre Dame, we're making comparisons kind of similar to Georgia. It's you're never going to get an extremely hot, fast start out of these guys. They're going to feel you out. They're going to bend a little bit, and then they're going to hit you right when it hurts, right in the middle of the football game, and then they're going to do what they need to do to win. So it'll be an interesting kind of back and forth as we see, where Oregon, when they played Ohio State, there's nothing they could do to come back from that. You know what I mean? So I think if Notre Dame can limit the damage early, which I think Texas we'll get to in a second, kind of gave them a roadmap for. It'll be interesting how they navigate.
Nate, I'm sorry I didn't let you speak. I really do apologize. Go ahead.
All good. Y'all pretty much covered everything I was thinking. Man, this was the one time, and me and Will's talked about this a lot, I've put my money on Drew Allard in 2 years.
And James Franklin.
The one time. I don't think I've been on Penn State in 2 years. And, he didn't pull through. He wasn't a dog in a situation he needed to be. It was a really good game. Don't get me wrong, but it was also sort of sloppy. A lot of sloppy quarterback play. And either one of these teams, no matter if Penn State won, obviously Notre Dame did. If either quarterback plays like that against a team like Ohio State, it's not gonna be pretty. Riley Leonard, he did throw for 225 yards with 15 completions, I think. 15, 16 completions. So he did make some good throws, but there was also some balance mixed in, and he did okay with his legs. But it's pretty much what we expected. I just thought Penn State would be able to pull it out at the end. And listen, Notre Dame has the worst field goal kicker in the country, and it's not even close.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Arizona State.
But I don't know.
Might be Texas, actually. Bert Auburn.
That's the most unclutch kicker, not the worst.
Hey, that kid from Notre Dame, these past 2 or 3 games have really upped his stock a little bit.
I mean, he wasn't healthy. That's why. He legitimately wasn't doing kickoffs because of him being unhealthy. And now he's fully healthy and he's banging them down the middle.
Either way, I did not expect that kick to go in. But
well, I'll say another guy who upped his stock. It was already high, but I think he was projected around like 10 to 13. I mean, Abdul Carter is a top 3 pick in any draft ever in the NFL. Yeah. That dude is so fast, so physical, and so fun to watch. Like, there's multiple like plays I watched on replay where, I mean, he's lining up on the right side of the ball, and we get a play that goes all the way to the other side of the football field, and somehow he tries to get through a tackle, notices the play is being run to the other side of the football field, and somehow he's there to make a tackle for like maybe 1 or 2 yards.
He only had one
I don't know how that's possible, but he's very fast, and I think if he puts on a little bit more NFL size, I mean, he already wears number 11, but it's almost like a copy paste Micah Parsons out there.
Yeah,
I agree. I like that comp.
And then also wasn't at one point, which team was it that their only receptions were made by the tight ends?
It was Penn State.
That was Penn State.
It was Penn State, right?
The entire game, it was only by tight ends and running backs.
Yeah, dude, that's insane. And which if I'm not mistaken, somebody on here said Tyler Warren was going to get shut down.
Well, dude's
a dog.
This is a credit to Notre Dame secondary. Whereas if you look at some of the plays and you watch the film, Tyler Warren, some of them he was open, some of them he was covered, but he was the only guy where you could, see an argument for throwing the football. Everybody else was locked up. I'm talking there was no other options than him. So, I mean, if you're a quarterback in a semifinal game, you got to throw the football somewhere. I'm going to throw it up to the guy that's 6'6" and 260. So
yeah, and the crazy part is you got 2 teams fighting to go to the championship, and then the lack of quality receivers on each team. I mean, they got good ones. Don't get me wrong, but there's no
Well, I'll say this: I think Notre Dame has good receivers, but I think Penn State's defensive line is very good. So it makes it tougher on the quarterback having to get the ball out quicker, where I say Penn State's receivers are not the most talented at all. And they're going against a Notre Dame secondary that is probably neither 1 or 2 in the country other than Ohio State. So, I mean, it's a tough matchup for a quarterback trying to throw a football either way you look at it. But if Penn State just had a guy, you know what I mean? They could have been a lot more effective, I think.
I think also too, Drew. Yeah. I mean, what's funny too is I just realized because I was looking at the box score, Drew Aller was probably the 3rd best quarterback in that game. Steve Angeli came in and threw dots.
Yeah, they're in good hands. I sent a message in the group during the game. I think it said Notre Dame's in good hands the next few years. And it's funny too because you don't hear anything on any NFL site or mock drafts about Riley Leonard going anywhere in the NFL. And I mean, quick, easy comparison to a guy is Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen, when he was a rookie, couldn't throw a football very well. If you go back and look at his numbers, and then you look at Riley Leonard, and he can spin in a good bit, and he's a gamer, and he can run the football. That's the modern day quarterback in the NFL that wins you games. So,
personal opinion, I just don't think Riley Leonard's going to really make it in the NFL, and that's just personal opinion.
Why?
Riley Leonard does the most important thing in football. He wins. He wins.
Yeah,
dude.
No,
he just wins, man. He finds a way.
He could get to a team and they 100%, fix a lot of his throws, things like that. I mean, that's what they get paid to do. But as of right now, I just don't see a team that would really need him in the next few years.
He kind of reminds me of Haynes King a little bit. He's kind of got that same style.
Of who?
Haynes King.
Yeah.
And I don't see Haynes King necessarily as a NFL quarterback. Throwing motions a little long. He's not prototypical, but dudes that find ways to win at that level always get picked up somewhere. It just who develops them, who's the quarterback coach? Do they clean up some of the issues with throwing form and whatever it is? That's when you find out. But those guys, you always take a chance on them, whether it be 6th, 7th round or an undrafted free agent.
I think a decent comp for Leonard, and this might be a little off to you, Cam, but I think the way Bo Nix plays is kind of comparable to what Leonard can do. Neither one has,
they run differently though.
They run differently. Yeah, I think the throwing though, Bo Nix has come a long ways, but
I'll tell you right now, there's multiple teams in the league that would have had better success on offense with Riley Leonard as their quarterback in the NFL. And I mean,
100% agree with that.
The Raiders, the Giants, the Browns. I mean, the list goes on.
Do you want Riley Leonard or Dorian Thompson-Robinson?
Right, exactly.
Take your pick.
And I mean, those guys on paper might be a little bit better and obviously a little bit more experienced, but Riley Leonard, everywhere he's gone in college, whether it was Duke or Notre Dame, he's found a way to win. I mean, at Duke, he was about to be a Clemson team that was elite, and he got hurt at halftime and they lost. So it just, I mean, if I'm a GM, I know like everybody's gonna want the big name guys like the Sanders and whoever else. But, if I'm really looking at it, if I can get Riley Leonard on day 3 of a draft and I kind of need a quarterback, I'm taking him for sure.
Give me Dart in day 2.
Low key, he's kind of like Tim Tebow. Like he's kind of like Tim Tebow.
I just thought that. I was like, he's
him.
Better throwing Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the motion's a little cleaner, a little more succinct. Yeah. But yeah, he's Tim Tebow. Just, and that guy started a couple years in the NFL.
So, he took a Broncos team to the playoffs that should not have been there.
That's like
and won a playoff
guys
game.
Like that mantra is like the winners. Like winners just find a way to win. Like, yes, Tebow had like a fantastic defense on the other side, and his teams didn't score like a ton of points, but like at the end of the game, he would do some magic and they would find a way to win. So like
that's the reason it was called Tebow time.
I just don't think Leonard should go somewhere like the Giants and be expected to,
No one should go to the Giants.
But somebody has to.
DeBall's losing his job if Leonard goes to the Giants. And he's like their number one guy.
Already have lost his job. Let's be honest.
Dude. I mean, what if the Giants, if we're talking about them specifically, are still trying to develop a true pocket passer in an age of football where that's kind of dead? Jared Goff is really the only guy left that's a true pocket passer that I can think of right now, and it's because he has the 2 best running backs and probably the best wide receiver duo and tight end in the league. So
best offense,
and best offensive line as well. You could argue.
You can argue Stafford now. He's not mobile anymore. Like,
right,
he doesn't really want to. He can, I guess, but he doesn't really want to. But like, he could scramble back. He scrambled to throw though, but he didn't necessarily stay in the pocket.
If you were to name the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now, they're all kind of the same architect where they can kind of, they can throw it, they can spin it, but they also can get you 20 yards like that if you blink.
Create.
So, like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, obviously Lamar Jackson.
You're
not wrong about that. The quarterback class is horrible, but yes, I think
there's some sleepers from college football quarterback. I think Jackson Dart's actually going to be really, really good. I think
Kyle McCord.
I know a lot of like Jackson Dart,
Graham Mertz,
Shador will probably not pan out because he's got too much hype going on.
Might be a Cowboy.
How it goes.
Just might.
I think Dylan Gabriel would pan out well somewhere. If he gets a shot, he's probably going to start as a backup somewhere for a while. But
not many jump in and start guys like start.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Definitely not.
Well, that's what
I think some guys are going to have to. Some of them are going to have to. Like, Cam Ward's going to start right away. Shador's going to start right away. Do they necessarily need to? Probably not, but they're going to be put in situations where they almost have to.
Some teams are so bad right now. Even if Milroe goes to one of those few teams, he starts right away.
If they're desperate enough.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you.
That'll be interesting to see though now, and because it used to be if you drafted a quarterback as a rookie, he's probably not seeing the field at all until like 4 years down the road. And now it's like guys are getting drafted and they're having to carry $1 billion franchise year 1 in the NFL, like Bryce Young, who everybody thought sucked, and now he's turned out after he's gotten some experience for a little while. He's actually pretty good, but now in college
rarely happens immediately.
Now in college football, when guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars at 18 years old, there could be a little bit of pressure that's alleviated kind of earlier in their career, as opposed to, okay, you're going to make nothing for these next 4 years in college, and then you get drafted. Okay, here's $10 million and you're the face of the franchise instantly, it's like guys might
you
already
have 2
be
years to figure it
adjusted
out.
to that.
Yeah. Well, now and then pro teams now, they're kind of like leaning towards the guys that are on the older side with a little bit more college starts. Like Jaden Daniels had a lot of starts, and like Bo Nix had a ton of starts before he came out.
Right.
So they're kind of leaning in that direction anyway.
He set the record for the most starts in college football with like 50
like they're gonna
plus.
like guys like that, played in a system for a long time and have played in big games. Like that's the other thing that they're gonna be looking for.
I mean, Bo Nix and Michael Penix are already veterans.
Yeah, true.
Honestly,
I mean, Jaden Daniels is the same age.
Or Jaden Daniels,
they're kind of playing like it though. You know what I mean?
They're poised.
Like we're all Falcons guys poised a little bit, and every one of us, we probably would be in the playoffs right now if Michael Penix was our quarterback from the start this season.
Yeah, honestly, 100% agree with you. We only needed one game. Like, don't tell me that Penix couldn't have played better one game compared to Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Yeah, but also too, like we got to remember that Kirk was elite for the first 6 games of the year. So I mean,
I would say
but
5.
But then
or
he
if we
sucked
have
for the
any
next 5,
defense whatsoever.
And I mean,
we're taking care of that. We got rid of the problem on the defensive side. We just got to get rid of the secondary.
Bring in old dude from
a whole new one.
What's dude from Michigan's name? Winkerdale? Yeah. Winkerdale? Is that his name?
Something
the
like
DC?
That.
Yeah. Dude, I would love him to be hired as DC.
I think I tweeted out our like someone tweeted out our like what's your dream Falcon off season? And I replied to it. I was like, okay, dream. I mean, I'm gonna go a little crazy here. But like obviously this is not realistic. Let me get to it. I know the first one was fire Raheem and hire Ben Johnson. Okay.
Or we get Bill Belichick
already not
back
happening.
in the building.
Yeah. Already not happening. Then hire Robert Saleh as DC. Love Robert Saleh.
I like that.
Draft an edge at 15 in the draft. I don't care who the edge is. Just draft one. Trade Kyle Pitts for a 3rd to 5th round pick. Get him gone. Re-sign Drew Dahlman and then draft only defense the rest of the draft. If you want to sprinkle in a tight end, go right ahead. If you trade Pitts. Yeah. And then there's also I ran out of characters, so I replied to it and said, ran out of characters, but Terry can go too. Get rid of the GM. He's been washed for 4 years.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
No one on the Falcons knows what they're doing.
Anything from the chats? Anything that you want to pull up for us to discuss?
I mean, like, like, we just said it. Or not a bum coach.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
exactly.
That's what we need. Elite defensive draft class for sure. Carter, Travis Hunter, Will Johnson, just to name a few. Corners are elite this year. I like the one thing that astonishes me is that Jahdae Barron is projected to go in the 2nd round. I'm like he just won the what's it called, the Thorpe Award for the best DB, and he's projected to go in the 2nd round. Like I get Hunter's more projectable. Will Johnson was hurt all year; he's more projectable, and then Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame is probably a little bit more projectable as well. And they expect Jahdae to probably be like a safety or a nickel in the NFL instead of a outside guy like the others. But still, like he just won the Thorpe Award and he's projected in the 2nd round. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's a hawk. Yeah, he wants the ball. He finds the ball.
Would love him on the Falcons.
I want a DB in the 2nd and 3rd round, low key. Like
I want a defense in all 7 rounds. All 7. And for anyone that said never draft anyone from Florida again, if Penix doesn't work out and DJ Lagway is there, we take him.
I think Penix is going to work out though.
Penix. But is fine.
I think you take Lagway though. I think you take a shot at Lagway.
Like Eugene Wilson, the next Percy Harvin, so good. We got some defensive guys that are there. Like I get it. There's one guy from Florida that has messed up from the Falcons. We also drafted
sour taste in your mouth.
Like we've drafted horrible people. We drafted Tack McKinley in the 1st round. And so we never draft someone from UCLA
Tack
again.
McKinley.
And what's even worse about it is that so we traded up to get him. Guess who was the pick that we traded?
Which pick?
TJ Watt.
Nice.
That sounds like
Solid
a Falcons decision.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. We don't got to go there. We were specifically talking about Falcons. We won't even mention his name on here. He was a tight end from Florida as well, but he's no longer living. Won't even mention him. Was kind of in jail for a little bit. But that was a Patriots problem. That was a Patriots problem. And we're just specifically talking Falcons here. We can draft people from Florida. Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, like
he does have that. All right. We ready to move on to Ohio State and Texas?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Ohio State wins this one 28-14. To me, the score does not indicate like the actual flow of the game.
Not even close.
I think a lot happened in like that last like 5 minutes, and I think that kind of like skewed people's outlook on this. Largely, I actually think Texas like controlled Ohio State to some degree. I mean, 3 quarters and they only had like 14 points. So like to me, like they controlled it when other teams were giving up 42 in prior weeks. So to me, they did a great job from that standpoint. And like I think Brandon said this earlier, it kind of gives like a blueprint for what you can do to mitigate some of the explosiveness of the Ohio State offense.
Triple team number 4.
What do you guys have? But yeah, right. Bracket him hardcore.
Triple team number 4.
What else do you guys have on this game?
Bet on everyone else to beat you. But what I have is obviously you said 28-14 doesn't show what it is. Like if you see a 14-point game, you wouldn't think Texas was on the 1 yard line with a chance to tie with 4 minutes to go.
I know.
And then call a toss 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Stupid play calling on the goal line.
Yeah,
awful decision.
My one thing is, and I know I've been a Quinn Ewers homer almost the entire year. Everyone's saying get him gone. He was like he lost the game. I was like, what game were you guys watching? Quinn Ewers played out of his mind. They had no run game. Yes, he may not have thrown the ball downfield to his receivers, but also best receiver barely played. And he was taking what the defense gave him. If the defense is going to give you the running back for 7 yards every play, I'm going to take it. First and 10, I'm going to take 7 yards every time. And then obviously, some good plays from Gunnar Helm. The crazy pointed, could have been pointing for a first down. Was he? No. But he pointed at the guy, got a unsportsmanlike. So, that wasn't
so best, soft. So soft.
I think
very soft.
He got his get back though.
He got it back. My main thing was like, where was this Quinn Ewers like hate coming from for this game specifically? Did he play elite all year? No, but this guy, I think like he did exactly what a quarterback should have done in that game.
I'm not saying he played bad.
I don't think he was the problem.
No, I think I text y'all this. I don't think he played bad, but I think like Texas definitely should have mixed it up a little bit more because what they were doing wasn't necessarily working offensively. I think they should have took a little bit more advantage of Arch's legs. And
what they did offensively in the second half worked because they were actually able to get 4 to 5 yards of carry in the second half.
I just think there were some points, like even on the goal line, like direct snap to Arch, see if he can get in. I think they should have put him in a few more situations.
Yeah, that one, the call, I think, is what kind of not really like lost on the game, obviously, because there was other things they could have done. But if it's first and goal, it was second and goal when he called it, give it to your running back one more time. What's gotten you there is your run game all year. Give it to him at least one more time. If he doesn't get in, then okay, shotgun, drop back, let your quarterback do something. Even Arch Manning, give it to him, something like that.
QB sneak. I thought about that. I thought that would have been an option.
If you're on the 1 yard line, this is what I would tell myself is you got 4 chances to turn and hand the ball off for your running back to gain 1 yard.
No, I get not doing it a third and fourth time because it's arguably the best D line in the country.
An outside toss, like they should just went back up the middle again.
Yeah, outside toss is crazy.
I agree with don't lose the field. Like
outside handoff,
give any of the field
cool.
away.
Outside handoff, cool. Sure. Outside toss, no.
Because you get back to the line.
Caleb Downs was crashing that all day.
Caleb Downs played out of his mind.
Yeah, they read that. They read that play, and he's nasty, by the way. Caleb Downs, that's a baller.
Yeah,
it was nice while we had him.
Falcons need to draft Jack Sawyer in the second round as well. Now I get like everyone's thinking like, okay, he just had one good play, but Sawyer was elite all year. And he's a former number one player in the country.
He was in Ewer's face a lot. He didn't make much contact with him, but he was in his face a lot.
Pressures were there. Pressures were there the whole game.
And I even texted you on the first quarter. Quinn Ewer stepped into a lot of sacks. He stepped up when he shouldn't have, and then there was one play where he should have stepped up and didn't. But honestly, probably after the first quarter, I think there was a ton of sacks taken. He was getting the ball out to his running back because he realized, okay, they're giving me the running back every play. So I think the adjustments were made, and then it just happened to be like even if Texas scores that touchdown to tie the game, can Ohio State still win? Yes. Do they probably still win? Yes. But like the 28-14, that game, like I took Ohio State minus 6.5. So I enjoyed it. But that game, that was a Texas covered that game in my eyes. Like they played a lot better than everyone expected them to.
No, they for 3 quarters plus of the game, I thought they belonged. Like those were teams on similar footing. It's just, and this is the way it's been. That actually, no, I see the chat.
Golden
that was
got hurt.
That was massive. Golden getting hurt was massive because he was like one of their big play guys in the previous game. So like he was kind of feeling good and had some good momentum. So like not having him, that was huge. But I keep seeing it where it's, and I think it's because of like the brightness of the lights. There is always one team that like folds in these moments, like that I've seen. Like every playoff is like there's always this one team that folds, and like Texas folded. Like I think the moment is got massive folded right there, and so like and it's like mistakes like Aller with the throw. Like to me that's super uncharacteristic. Just like how egregious of a decision and poor throw that was. It's like that's dictated by the moment, not like the talent of the player doing it. And so I saw a lot of that in the last. They could smell it. Like both teams could smell it, and Texas just could not. They didn't keep composure the way that they needed to.
I mean, it's hard for. I mean, we forget that all the people on the field are 23, 24 and younger. If I'm out there, am I keeping my composure the entire time? No, not even close. But obviously, they've been doing it for years. They're making millions of dollars. So like the right tackle definitely, I think he just genuinely got beat. He tried for a little low block, trying, kind of, because all Quinn needed was some time. Because he was trying to throw the ball when he needed a half second more. He was trying to throw the ball when he got stripped, and he just missed. He just missed.
Yeah. Anything else on this one?
All good.
Let's go ahead and let's preview time. My favorite time, preview time. For the national title, Ohio State and Notre Dame. Show of hands on who thought these would be the two teams we'd be talking about on this particular day. Show of hands.
I could have seen it in the beginning of the year. Not Notre Dame. Not Notre
Dame.
Never
had faith in Notre Dame.
I could see Ohio State in
at the beginning of the year. I saw it. And I will put my hand up. I didn't have it the entire time, I will say, but I am the only one to put Ohio State as the national championship winner at one point in this year. And I did it even after they lost to Oregon.
Man, halfway through the season, it was just so hard to picture them in this position.
It's because they finally started to realize, okay,
Chip Kelly finally started calling plays.
Yeah, Will Howard can throw the ball downfield.
Take care of it.
And they have not just one elite receiver, they have 3. Carnell Tate would be a 1 on a lot of teams. Emeka Egbuka is going to go in the first round, and Jeremiah Smith is the next Julio Jones. So,
dude, nobody had faith in this team after the halfway point of the season until they did what they did to Tennessee.
I had faith halfway through the season, that they would make some noise because they lost to Oregon, the number 1 team, by a point. Like. It's you still have faith there that they can make some noise. Now, when they lost to Michigan,
not beating people what they did or how they did.
Yes, but they had some stuff happen. Like lost their left tackle, big loss there. He's very good. And
lost their center.
But but there's also been teams that haven't done that. like the team they're facing, Notre Dame. They lost a corner, they lost D tackle, they lost a lot of on the D line, lost a lot of weapons on the outside. Like
depleted.
Notre Dame has lost a lot as well. I mean, Ohio State, they have everything. They have all the cards. They have the cards. They basically have the matchup advantage almost everywhere on the field. It's going to take mistakes. It's going to take mistakes for Notre Dame to win this game, in my opinion. Which, I mean, Notre Dame is the best team at forcing them, so it can obviously happen. So we'll see.
I mean, this matchup's a doomsday scenario for me.
I know you hate both teams.
Hate both teams, and then Penn State was my other choice. At this point, I'd rather just see James Franklin just succeed.
No, I think I think you hate Ryan Day a little bit more, but I think your doomsday was Penn State, Ohio State.
I think that's the whole country, dude. That would have been the least watched national championship of all time.
Oh no, people would.
I would have watched.
People would watch it.
Yeah, watch James Franklin get his eyes beat in again by a ranked team.
They lost by 7 the last time they played. Now, was it a bad showing? Yeah.
Yes.
In a snooze fest? Yeah. But they lost by 7. They didn't score after the first 3 minutes of the game, but.
All right, so I've got the line at 8.5. Has that changed?
I had it at 8.
I had it at 8.
Okay, so 8.5. Over under I have at 45.5. Has that changed?
46.5 is what I had it at now.
I love it. I love that because okay. So in my mind, Texas talked about it a little earlier. Texas kind of found like this little bit of a blueprint to. I think if they have a little bit more composure, I think Ohio State probably scores 21 points and not 28, which to me that's containing Ohio State. In my mind, that's containing them. That makes it a winnable game. So the blueprint is there. Notre Dame is a team that makes very few mistakes, and they have a blueprint now for what it should look like to kind of mitigate some of the damage that Ohio State's offense can do. So, I always start with if this was going to happen, if Notre Dame was going to win this game, what has to happen? And it's a lot, y'all. I think a lot has to go their way. Like you said it, there's got to be mistakes.
We thought the same thing with Penn State, though.
Howard's kind of a similar quarterback to Drew Aller, maybe a little worse in terms of arm talent.
A little worse,
but
skill,
he also
more
has
poised.
better weapons.
Yeah,
he's got better weapons. Poise, that's huge. Yeah, he definitely has that. I feel like he'll be. Well, I don't know. He made a pretty boneheaded decision under the bright lights against Oregon, so maybe he learned from that. I don't know, but I don't know, man. There's just Notre Dame's banged up too. Notre Dame's beat up, and again, there's the turnover thing. But at what point, a team that relies heavily on turnovers or succeeds based heavily off turnovers, at what point does that, luck kind of run out, or does it? And the other thing is they only forced one turnover against Penn State. I think they lost the turnover battle, and
it was
Notre Dame
tied,
still won the football game.
Yeah,
it's the football game was won regardless, and so that result doesn't have that much variance to begin with anyway. So kind of give credit to Notre Dame there. They might just be Notre Dame might just be good. They might just be a good football team.
Yeah.
That, they kind of know what their identity is, and they know how to win football games in their fashion. I can't shake some of the issues, the injuries on the line that. I can't shake that. They've got a running back that's playing, but is clearly banged up, not all the way right. And is he going to get right in time for this game? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. The more I look at it, the easier it is for me to find a way for Ohio State to cover. And it's harder for me to see how Notre Dame keeps this competitive just from an X's and O's standpoint. Not I don't want to talk about intangibles and what Riley Leonard brings to the table and the motivation factor and all that, but strictly football, personnel, does Notre Dame match up to lose this game by less than a touchdown? It's hard for me to, looking at it from that standpoint, it's hard for me to see it. I don't know what you guys think.
I saw two things that lead me to my pick. The first one is Notre Dame plays the most man coverage in college football. It's not going to work against Ohio State, but I don't know if you can just change what got you there.
Will, you took the words out of my mouth. That was going to be one of my reasons.
And then also too, I saw a little stat here. I don't have the exact like what it is, but like I know the number. I just don't know when it's from. Like it could be from 2000 on, it could be from 1980 on, or something like that. But 46% of the time in the national championship game, if you take the spread, add 2 touchdowns on it, 46% of the time that's covered.
God dang it, Will! You got what I got pulled up. No, I had pulled up all the scores since the 26-23 Bama Georgia game in 2018. So the past, I'm bad at math, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't do the spread, but all 6 have been near about blowouts.
Yeah. Which I mean, the Alabama Georgia game where Georgia won, that one I don't think was a blowout in terms of game, but they won by what, 15?
It was 33-18.
Yeah. So like that one, the score was 15, but
that was the closest one in the last 6 years.
Alabama was driving to tie the game. So I mean, like the score doesn't always dictate what it is, but I saw that stat, and obviously the Notre Dame playing man coverage scares me because if you play man coverage against Ohio State, you're going to get beat. And you can only like if you're like you can put, I guess, your 2 DBs on an island against like Buka and Tate, and then bracket Jeremiah Smith. But is that going to work? That's my thing. I don't think it will. It's probably gonna come back to bite me in the ass taking Ohio State to cover because I've backed Notre Dame in the past. It's not like I haven't done it all year. So I'm going to take Ohio State -8 because, and I might even do it to where if it allows me to take the 2 touchdowns for a little higher value, because 46% of the time is a high enough number for me to take it.
Yeah. You want me to go ahead? Since I'm kind of on the same page as Will, I guess.
Will, it was Ohio State -8.
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, Will said everything that I had written down. So I'm just going off the dome right here with this one. But yeah, sort of like he said, if I don't think Notre Dame's going to change. They are who they are, like he said. I think they're going to go man against Ohio State, and I think they're going to get torched down the field. I personally don't see this game being close. And Notre Dame's beat up. Ohio State's beat up. But when you look at it, I think Ohio State has the better 2s in the game. Right? And they've shown that throughout the whole playoffs, or every game they've played in playoffs. The receivers just way better than anybody on Notre Dame's defense. I just don't think it's a good matchup at all. And I don't think Riley Leonard's going to be able to make the plays he needs to make to even keep this game close. I said it last week, and he did an okay job. He completed 15 passes for 225. However that happened.
Explosive plays were there, though, last week.
Yeah, they were pretty explosive, but I just think they're going to bottle him up better than Penn State did. And the thing is, though, is a lot of throws they're going to force him to make, I think, are going to be forced in great coverage. So he's not going to have much time to throw it, much room to throw it, and I really don't think they're going to get their running game going that good because we don't know the situation with the running back right now.
If he throws 2 picks against Ohio State, they're not sniffing winning the game.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I just don't think it's a good matchup at this time in the season for Notre Dame at all.
So you taking the cover?
Yeah, I'm taking them to beat them by 8.
Well, I'm going to go with the exact opposite of that because I'm sick and tired of hearing all this Ohio State glazing going on. Even though they are a good football team, I just want to be the oddball this time, and I find myself the last few weeks kind of rooting for Notre Dame now. I don't know why.
I'll be rooting for Notre Dame 100%.
Riley Leonard fires me up. Jeremiah Love fires me up. Marcus Freeman fires me up when he's yelling at the refs and stuff like that. The defense fires me up, and I mean I just want to see the almighty Ohio State fall again because I like laughing at Ryan Day. I like hearing the pain that Ohio State fans have gone through the last few years and hopefully go through again. But for more of a football point, I'm taking this pick because, one, it would be awesome. It would be cool. There's a ton of value in it. And I think there's a possibility. Okay. Is it the smartest bettors pick ever? No. But if I think there's a possibility on a value that's this high, I'm going to take it, especially in the last game of the year, because why not? It's the last game of the year. So you are right. Notre Dame plays all man coverage pretty much 100% of the time. And you can make some arguments on that, depending, seeing that Ohio State's receivers are really, really good. And you could make another point saying Notre Dame's secondary is really, really good too. So where man-to-man coverage makes it harder, obviously it's hard on defensive backs, right? Because you don't have the freedom and the security of a zone defense. But where it also gets harder is for quarterbacks, because guys are one-on-one covered pretty much every play. So you have to deliver a good, accurate ball. And Will Howard's going to have to do that consistently over and over and over again. And the last few weeks, he's shown he could do that pretty well. And pretty much all season, I think he's done that pretty well, but it's pretty easy when you have guys on your team that are of that caliber of Ohio State's wide receivers. But I think Notre Dame's secondary is on another level. I think they'll keep them in this game as far as Texas giving them a blueprint. The offensive side, I think, is where Notre Dame could struggle. My main argument to that is just Riley Leonard being Riley Leonard, as we talked about earlier, and how much of a game changer he can be just based on all the intangible things we've seen from him. And I mean, we're sitting here saying, Jeremiah Love's banged up, but I just watched that dude, on like 5 yards away from the end zone, take a handoff.
He muscled that thing in,
struck through one guy, carry two dudes on his back, and then spun around 3 other dudes and score a touchdown. So he might be wearing a knee brace, but I tell you what, there's going to be so much adrenaline rocking in that championship game that I don't think he'll feel much, and he's going to play probably up to his potential, I would think, in most of it. And let's not sit here and say the backup for Jeremiah Love, I'm pretty sure he has like 800 yards on the season. So he's not no slouch as a backup running back. He could easily be a number one running back anywhere in the country if it weren't for Jeremiah Love being there too. What Notre Dame is going to have to do is they're going to have to find some form of stopping on the offensive line, some form of getting Riley Leonard comfortable to where it's not like he has to take off every play, which I still think he could be effective if he does, but they got to have some balance to where his legs can be effective, and you can't have to, you don't just have to sell out for that every play. And I think from what I've seen this postseason of college football is Marcus Freeman has solidified himself as a very, very good head coach of in college football. I mean, I know there's a lot of hate on him out there for him. I know there's question marks surrounding some things, but the dude knows how to obviously motivate his players. His coordinators operate a good scheme. They're good at what they do, and he just seems like he's a good leader of men, and that's what you want going into a championship game. Where, in my eyes, you can look at the players and the depth chart and the schemes and all this on paper. A lot of that gets thrown in the trash for me when it comes to a championship game. I know we've had blowouts before, where we're almost kind of looking at the same situation where there's a clear winner as far as who has the better players, right? Who has the more skill, the most talent. But I think this Notre Dame team has been more so challenged in their road to this. And you could say they've had to battle a little bit more adversity to where now I think their momentum is starting to creep up to the level of Ohio State's, if not surpassed it. I mean, we're talking about a Notre Dame team that beat Indiana pretty easily, beat Georgia pretty easily, and then had a battle it out game with Penn State, which was very impressive. And I think that's another game that's kind of transcending, if you might, as a team, where it's like, okay, we can do this. This is possible. Now we got to go beat the big boys, the big bad Ohio State. But you guys are right. It's going to take some mistakes. But if any team's going to make you make a mistake, it's probably going to be this Notre Dame team. So
that is accurate.
That's what I'm rooting on. That's what I'm rooting for. I want to see Notre Dame win. And there's plenty of value in the pick, obviously, because they're big underdogs. And I guess I'm more so rooting for a really good game because we haven't had a really, really good championship game except for the Georgia-Alabama game that was a few years back. So I'm just hoping for college football's sake we get a good one. I would much rather see Notre Dame hoist a trophy than Ryan Day. So at least we can all be on the same page there, I think. 100%. If we're not on the same page betting-wise.
It's the battle of Ryan Day and Lou Holtz.
How about score predictions, fellas? Give score predictions.
I'm going to go a little low. I think prediction-wise, I think Notre Dame somehow finds a way to stop Ohio State offensively, explosive offensively. And I think Notre Dame wins the game on a field goal. I'm going to go 2017 Notre Dame.
I'm going to go 31-13 Ohio State.
Nate?
I gotta start going before Will.
Is that what you were gonna say?
No, 32-14 Ohio State. Dude, where did 31-13 come from? That's a weird number. Or is it just me, or is that a weird number?
32 is a weirder number.
It makes
31.
sense. 32 is way weirder than 31.
Yeah.
That's four touchdowns and a field goal. Yours, you got like a safety. You got a safety in there somewhere, man, or a failed 2-point conversion.
Yeah. Or they just go for 2 every time.
31-14, 32-14, whatever. Same difference.
If he gets 32 right, I'm giving him 4 points.
Yeah, absolutely. You automatically. I don't care what the other team scores. No, you're right.
I didn't math it out in my head. I just said numbers.
All good. It's all good. Hey, scoreagami. It happens. Some weird scores happen. So, all right. So I haven't really gone with my actual pick. I think the line is close to perfect. If I'm being honest, I think it's close to perfect. I think the over/under is close to perfect. How are you going to get 32? They'll find a way, man.
I didn't math it out. Let's go with 33. I'll give him the extra one.
So I'll make the adjustment, Nate.
11 field goals.
Dude.
Yeah, there we go. All right. 11 field goals and 2 touchdowns from Notre Dame. I love it.
It's like somehow they get 12 possessions in the game.
Isn't it crazy? I dealt with numbers in the past.
Yeah, it is. All right. So like I said, I think the line's close. I think the over/under is close to perfect. So I'm going into this game, whatever I pick, and I'm just planning on it being a sweat. Like it's just kind of where I'm at right now. So I have 2 leans. I don't have any locks, but I have 2 leans. I'm going to decide by the end of this sentence which one I'm going to pick. I'm leaning Ohio State to cover because I don't think Notre Dame gets to 20 points. And I'm leaning the under because I don't think Notre Dame gets to 20 points. Notre Dame team total is 17.5. So that's, again, right. I think it's perfect. I think it's right where it should be. Maybe it's 13, maybe it's 14, but there's a world where they score 2 touchdowns and a field goal, and I have to sweat it out. So I think that line's great. I think they go right under that. Ohio State team total is 27.5. I think that's perfect. There's a world where they get in the 30s, but I think Notre Dame can do enough defensively to kind of keep them in that mid-20s range. I'm going to take under 46, and Ohio State wins the game 27-17.
That's a sweat right
there.
Everything. I told you everything is like lined
each
up.
A half point under.
So I'm gonna. Yeah, everyone's a half point under. That equals 44, and that's less than 46.
You know how mad I'm going to take if they put up a 32 on a missed field goal or something, or a missed extra point.
I'm still going to give you 4 points.
We're like, what were you thinking? It ends up being perfect.
Regardless of if they score, like you said, 32. So I'm still going to give you 4 points if they score 32, even though you changed it.
Yeah, I still have it written down. I'm just going to keep it there.
Cam, can you? What are the standings right now for the playoffs? And do you have it up right now?
I have everything up right now. Yes.
Yeah. Go. While you, I guess, like look at it, I'm gonna ask everyone one question, and I'm gonna pull up the bracket. Let's see here. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little betting thing for next year. If you had to take the line is 7.5, or what do you guys think the line should be for this? I'm gonna say 7.5 of these teams out of all 12 making the playoff next year.
Just okay. I see what you're saying.
Over or under 7.5 of these 12 teams making the playoff.
Let me count.
I think I'm taking the under because I see 8, and I think 1 misses.
I see at most 3 that could miss. I mean, it's just tough. I mean,
I have 7 under.
Yeah, I'm looking at Arizona State, Boise State, and SMU more than anything.
It's 5.5, like the chat thinks. I think
I'm gonna go under.
I'm taking the over.
I'm gonna go under.
I would, I think 7. I think there's 7 that.
I think there. I
can't guarantee 7 will, but 7 can. 7 are going to have the capacity to do so.
Because I think
Clemson's going to be great next year. Honestly.
I think everyone on the left side can make it again, except I don't have Arizona State.
I don't have Arizona State.
I have Notre Dame, Georgia, and Penn State. So that's Correct. 7 teams exactly, I believe.
James Franklin
that's exactly
special.
what I have. Yeah, that's exactly what I have.
So I'm going to go under 2. I don't have Tennessee or Texas next year, though.
Tennessee's got some tough games on the road next year.
They do, but you made it with a freshman quarterback. I think they're gonna improve.
He's gonna
get
better.
And then Arch, I think, is gonna. I think Arch.
Texas actually has. Texas right now has they're number 1 to win national championship next year. They got the lowest odds.
Yeah,
not that bad.
I'm not either, but I think Arch. I think Arch is gonna be a difference maker next year. I think he's going to
be bad.
I just don't see that.
Their schedule, remember, their schedule's the same exact schedule they had this year, minus a few out of conference.
I think he ends up being
not a hard schedule. He's
going
to be able to manage their schedule. 2 losses they're in.
I think he could be a disappointment because everyone thinks he's going to win the Heisman, do everything that Texas asks of him, but I don't think he's going to be bad. Because, he's a Manning, obviously. So everyone thinks he's going to be Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, go number 1 in the draft. Now, that's super high expectation, so he could disappoint in that, right? But I don't think he's going to be bad at all. I think he's actually going to be probably a top 10 quarterback in college football.
Top 10, yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So everyone's got the under 7.5 here.
I've got 7.
And then
I think it's
go into the chat. So the line was moved to 5.5. What are we taking?
Oof. Hold up, let me recount.
Probably
over. I say 6.
Yeah, go over
6 or 7.
I have for sure. Let's go Notre Dame, Ohio State, Georgia, Penn State, Clemson, and probably Oregon because they probably have the same schedule again, right?
Everybody does.
Yeah.
I would take the over as well because I'm betting on 6 teams to make it.
Yeah.
Because I like the unders. I think 7 make it, but you take the field if one of them's gonna miss. But I think 6 can make it because I think Ohio State, Clemson, and Texas are all gonna be elite next year. Clemson's going to win the ACC again. And then you got Oregon in there. Oregon's going to be perfectly fine as long as Dan Lanning doesn't die. And then Georgia's obviously Georgia, Kirby Smart, something like that. Gunnar Stockton's got a full year under his belt.
Georgia may have messed around and won the transfer portal, by the way.
I do worry the one thing with Georgia and the offensive pieces that they've gotten. I love them. Mike Bobo, that's going to hold him back. That like
you should be able to catch the football at least, though.
Yeah. But then we also got to remember that Mike Bobo loves his screen passes to the running backs, and eventually, if you just
they're easier to catch.
If you hone in on a lot of screen passes, then Georgia's offense can get a little stifled because for some reason, even if they are honing in on that, Mike Bobo will continue to call them. And then Penn State has arguably been honestly, ever since they got back with Saquon Barkley, I feel like they're in the top 12 every year, but just miss out on the actual the 4-team playoff. So I expect them to be back. And then Notre Dame, they're probably going to get a transfer quarterback, and Marcus Freeman's an elite head coach. So I think they can be back. And I might be a little bold here and a little biased as well. I think Indiana can make it back. Mendoza.
I like Mendoza, man. I like Mendoza, so I'm
and if they have another easy, if their schedule's a little as easy as it was this year as well, and then I think say they go 10-2 after this, and honestly they probably played. I mean they kept it within 10 of Notre Dame. It's the second best right now. So
that is you have a point.
So Will, how does it make you feel that Florida's in the top 20 of odds to make it next year?
I love BJ more than anyone. That man is going to be our savior. I don't agree with it. Do we end the year?
You don't think he's going to be the savior next year?
No. Because I don't think the team is ready to be saved next year. So I think, could we end the year top 20 for sure? I think DJ can get us there, and our defense has played has down the stretch has played very good, and we had our top 2 sack guys. They're coming back. We are losing our best corner. That's a big loss. Eugene Wilson should be healthy next year, or will come into the year healthy. Does he stay healthy? We don't know. Obviously, a team can be ravished by injuries. So I think. Can we make some noise in the SEC? Go 9-3, 8-4? Yeah. We also got to remember too, the schedule's the exact same.
Yeah, Billy Napier is going to retire a Gator. He's turning that program around.
I mean, I think we go. I think 8-4, 9-3 is very in the cards next year, and I would absolutely love a 9-3 season, finish top 17 in the country. From Florida, and then junior year DJ Lagway, he takes us maybe not to the SEC championship, but we sneak in as an at-large bid to the college football playoff at 10-2.
I love it,
dude. I think that's what we do next week is recap the championship, and then we do way too early predictions for next year.
Yeah,
I think we do that.
Yeah. Someone in the chat did ask next year Natty winner prediction. We'll just
hold on. We'll save it. We'll save it.
Just throw out a name, not even an explanation. Just throw out a name.
Dude, okay. Jesus, right, winner's tough.
Winner's tough. Texas.
North Carolina.
I love that. I love that.
Nate, just do it.
No, I'm not going to do it. I should do it, but I'm not. Hey, now I'll get into this. I'll get into that whole argument later. I'll go a little surprise here. I'll go South Carolina.
Ohio State back to back.
That was my next pick. I was deciding between
Ohio State back.
I thought we were going a surprise. I didn't think we were.
No. The surprise is next week. We're just
South Carolina probably won't be up there next week.
South Carolina's a good pick.
I don't mind it.
They're just not. I don't think they could run deep in it.
I think it'll be a team that is on the left side of this bracket that is in that. Besides they have a T as their logo. It will be one of those 3 teams.
I'll make a bold prediction. The winner of next year's college football playoff is not in the bracket this year.
That is absolutely bold. Yeah.
Alabama.
I think he's leaning towards Alabama for those of you watching.
South Carolina's not in it. Ole Miss
LSU, Brian
LSU's
Kelly.
not in it.
Well, LSU ain't winning it.
No, I agree. Vanderbilt's not in it. David Pavia Magic.
Well, they're not winning it.
So going into the championship, I have our I have the entire season, our standings. Okay. So going into that, there is already a winner. So no one can catch the winner. Someone has secured first place. Yeah. In last place, I can be in not last. So I am in last, 65, 61, and 3. Nate is in third, 66, 61, and 2. So if he's wrong, and so if Notre Dame covers and the under hits, I can beat Nate.
I was doing good till the playoffs got here.
Same, bro. Same.
I've dominated playoffs.
Brandon is in second, 67, 60, and 2. He's locked into second. Well, actually, you can tie. If Nate's right and you're wrong. And then Will pulled away in a efficient fashion, 72, 55, and 2. So Will, once the playoffs hit, has absolutely hit another.
Do you have the regular season pulled up? What we finished regular season?
Yeah, Brandon won the regular season, didn't he?
Brandon won that, and I think I was in second. I think Will might have been in last.
I feel like I was smashed
at the end of the regular season. Yeah, but I've done. Yeah. Do you have the individual records of just the playoffs?
I have it, but I have it week by week. I don't have it compiled into like one list.
Okay, we can do that next. We can do that next week after the official end of the playoffs. But what I was gonna say is, because I was fairly certain with my dominance, I had already locked it up because there's only one game.
You did. You did.
So how far behind in wins is the last place?
6. No, 7.
7? So that would tie. If you get the score exactly correct, 8 wins. Locking it in. Okay. So you can still win. You got to get the score exactly correct.
27-17. I might put that in DraftKings. Like I might actually just put an exact score in and just go all in on the championship game. Just put a flyer on it. Okay, so I got that. Let me get back to the other page. Do we have anything else?
Though, if I get it, that would be an Ohio State cover.
You can still tie it. Yeah, if you get the Ohio State cover, like you still tie. We can be co-champions.
But yeah,
and then Nate, if you get your score prediction right, then you would just win outright. You win the whole thing.
That 32, I swear to God, if that hits.
I did change it to 33 because I was not thinking. But if 32 hits,
I'm trying to think of like the scenario where that, like,
hold up,
you get 12 points if 32 hits, because you get the 8 from the other one, and then the 4 points from me giving you for 32.
I'm
what's the scenario for?
let me see.
Oh wait, no, you can't score 30. Yeah, okay, never mind. But yeah, you got to get the exact score right.
I think it's 3 missed extra points and like
for 32.
Yeah, like
I mean, you just need like a team to like go for 2 a couple times, like
get a safety.
Hey, I'll just say this, man. Freaking overtime going in 2-point conversions.
You get and it goes to 8. It goes to like 8 OTs.
But I do have the prediction 32-14, so it shouldn't go to overtime.
They would,
unless it's 14-14 and it. But then that still couldn't work. Yeah, so I'm screwed. Yeah, it can't work. It can't work.
You might be screwed. You might
unless their kicker just decides to kick with his left foot or something, or right foot, whatever he is.
They might do that if they're up big. I mean, Georgia probably could have done it against TCU that one year.
True.
Dude, imagine like a botch snap or something.
That would be something.
All right. Anything else we want to talk about before we go?
I think that's it.
All good.
Brandon, tell the people what they need to do if they haven't done it yet.
Yep, one more game for our college football podcast. Last one of the season. It's been a fun ride. We hope all of you have tuned in for us this far with one more game left to go, have enjoyed what we've brought to the content pages we put out, and we hope all you guys start subscribing, liking, following everything that would help us out. We would much appreciate it. It helps us out. It grows the channel a little bit so we can grow our community, and we're going to hopefully keep growing into the point where every year when we keep doing this, when college football comes back around, we just continue to grow. So Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, anything you can think of, we're probably there. So just look us up, follow us, like us, give us a rating, comment, whatever you want to do. That'll help us out, and we appreciate it.
Someone from the chat, Ben Dover, this mainstay here, he has officially said, I'm locking in 32-14. Nate convinced me.
Locked it in. It's like plus 10,000. Anything else from the chats? I don't want to leave anyone out.
Nothing really, no.
Cool. All right, that is it for today, y'all. As per usual, me and Will are going to be back on Friday for the divisional playoff games for the NFL postseason, so make sure you tune into that. I've been dropping posts consistently on the gram for some tennis bets during the midweek days, which have been going swimmingly well so far. So make sure you like those. Play those as you see them come in, because like I've needed it because playoff football has been so bad for me, but tennis is kind of like keeping me afloat here. So keep an eye out for those. The rest of us are going to be back next Wednesday to recap the championship game and give our 2 early predictions for next season. Going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. We will see y'all next time.
Peace.
Peace.